guys, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Natasha.
And we were wondering,
are you free for coffee?
Welcome, welcome.
Okay, I'm excited.
We're
guys.
all in our royal fields.
Yes.
We've had
we
a royal weekend.
We did. And guys, you'll be so proud of me because this has literally never happened in my life. I binged an entire show. Did I beat you this time?
No.
I didn't. Well, listen.
I hold the record.
You do. But I binged an entire human show in a day. That is unreal.
But yeah.
Unreal.
I just did it earlier. Well, I got up to let the dog out or something, and then I was just away.
Hey, and, Queen Charlotte.
I was like, oh, it's on. Let me do it.
So what's so funny is, obviously we named Scarlett, but when she was little, I would mess up and call her Charlotte. I have no idea why, because
I have a little cousin Charlotte.
She came out of me.
Aunt's grandchild.
His name is Charlotte.
It's Charlotte.
I have a friend. Her daughter's name is Charlotte, and so Scarlett said, "Oh, that movie's for me." I said, "Well, baby, it's Queen Charlotte." She said, "I know." I said, "Queen Charlotte." Mommy, I heard you. I said, "Oh, excuse me, excuse me."
It was really great. Shonda Rhimes is always reliably good.
Yeah, she's bringing
it. I saw her noted as the writer.
Yes.
So I'm thinking she wrote the whole thing.
I think
she's
so.
Not always the case. I mean, she's, they credit her along with others, but this one was just hers. What I saw.
From what I understood, that is true.
So it was awesome. We loved it.
Gosh.
It was so.
From the very beginning, the casting was so good. You could see every character.
Y'all hear Nelson?
He has that toy.
Yeah, he has a toy, a little pig that kind of oinks /
It's like
farts.
a honk oink.
And so if you hear that's not us.
And my kids love that.
We don't have gas.
No,
it's Nelson with the green
funny.
pig. So
he loves that thing. But yeah, so their likeness was just. I did hear
right on cue.
Their likeness to the cast we fell in love with, the Bridgerton cast. It was uncanny.
Yeah, it was so great, y'all.
Even just looking at it, you know who's who.
Okay, let's talk about, just in general, I think the difference between Queen Charlotte and Bridgerton, they did have some obstacles to their love stories, but they were
very
mild.
They were self-imposed obstacles.
If you look back on it years from now, I'm sure they'll laugh about it and kind of no big deal. But in this show, there were so many heavy things. Heavy things. And I told Natasha, it's kind of like, when you're young, you fall in love because of this, that, and the other, the way they look, the way they make me feel, the way, all the things. And mature love is loving someone in spite of. Yes. I feel like.
Yes.
It's a lot of,
yes.
Well, I'm not too crazy about this, but.
However, right. And I choose you and I choose to be here and show up.
So this was a lot of that.
It was.
At a very young age.
Oh, man.
And it was just so.
It was beautifully written, but it was heavy.
It was heavy. It really was. So, okay, let's talk about George.
Oh, baby.
Y'all, well, number one, how cute.
F-I-N-E,
I think his name Corey.
Correct.
So adorable.
So fine.
Played it so well. I think the thing that struck me the most was, especially Americans, we are so enamored with royalty because we don't have it.
Yes.
And it's just, it looks so glamorous and so like, wow, what a life.
And we've put it on such a pedestal.
We have. But the thing is, it's such a cage. Even though the cage is gilded and comfortable and beautiful, it's still a cage.
You're still caged.
You just have to do what you have to do. And I was thinking, they showed a lot of him having panic attacks and anxiety attacks. And I was thinking, can you imagine for someone who is an introvert or very shy, and if they were told, you have to be a public speaker for your career? An introvert would never choose that.
Right.
That just wouldn't be the thing, their go-to thing. But here, you've got to do it.
You better.
You got to do it.
And then he had the pressure.
How crippling that would be.
Well, his father had passed. So he had the pressure of growing up even faster because to take over.
Yeah.
So he really, I mean, of course me, history nerd, Shout out to Stephen F. Austin, because I have a degree in history. But, he didn't have a chance to be a child.
No.
He didn't.
And then all the choices, the big choices were taken from him.
Yes. The ones that he wanted to help with, he was deprived of. Right. And the things
luckily he said he loved her from first sight, love at first sight. So that was, thank God.
Yeah.
So that worked out. Because it could have not been that, and you just still have to get on with it.
Right.
But
15 kids later, I think there was some attraction.
Yes. That wasn't his problem.
Yeah. But he had other much bigger obstacles.
Even though he did fall in love with her, can you imagine being told this is your spouse?
You have no choice.
No, this is it. You got to go with it. And it's just like, oh my gosh, his mental health issues were just they depicted it so well.
They did.
And it was so heartbreaking.
Yes.
Really heartbreaking. And of course, like Natasha said, we both kind of did a deep dive. Nobody knows for sure what was wrong with him because, of course, they didn't have the diagnostic tools we have now.
And because some of the medical treatments that his mother sought when he was a young boy, when he was a teen, disrupted just his natural development, even historically speaking, it's very hard to say.
Yes. And they said, and some of the treatments also could have made it worse.
Yes. Well, his end of life treatments for sure made it worse. It would make even a sane person.
So that was heartbreaking. And I'm sure 100 years from now, some of the things we are doing, they would think, oh my God, what was that?
Right.
So, they did the best they could.
Yeah. And he did
what they knew.
Yes.
But I feel just like a lot of it was the anxiety. Now they did depict him with the voices and stuff. So I don't know if that was schizophrenia or
that's kind of the largely accepted,
bipolar
potential
or whatever.
issue.
But just the crippling anxiety.
Of it,
if you had taken that element from it, that probably would have helped a lot. Just let him be the farmer and just leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
Yeah. So that was like, and you know what made me, I was thinking about Kanye. And I was thinking about Kim, like how hard is it to be married to somebody who struggles with mental health that much?
Mm-hmm.
We all have our issues
to that degree,
right? But just that
and with the spotlight too, because you remember when he went into the garden and he is completely nude, which back then that was even more like, oh my gosh,
and there were no cameras or no recordings or
but they still were like, we can build a screen, we can, they had these. They're trying to help.
If you would just be out there,
girl would have sat with paparazzi
you're saying
taking pictures of your
crazy stuff, and when you're doing crazy things, and it really made me think about Kim and Kanye and how difficult that situation. I knew
our heart has went out to her before, but it does make you think deeper.
I thought, wow, that is a hard road to hoe.
And now I didn't think of that until you mentioned it now. But in comparison and in contrast to this, what is even more terrifying is the queen ultimately was not the best mother. It is what it is. And Brimsley brought it up. Your loyalty, like mine, you're like everyone here. Your loyalty is to the king. It's to the crown.
Well, he needed so
much. He needed so much. But think about Kim. Kim has to be mama plus deal with that. True. So that just makes my heart break for her.
Just typically, royals don't see to their kids much because I think Charles had alluded to that with his mom. Like they just see him in the evening or whatever. You just don't have much.
Whenever they get a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and that's where that glorification.
And I imagine if you had a spouse that was struggling like that, you would try to be attentive
and then his mother passed. They were not in real life. King George, his mother passed. They were not married very long. Oh. As a matter of fact, I really believe she waited just to make sure that there were going to be heirs. And, their first two children were boys. So they had boy. They either had 3 boys and then a girl or 2 boys and then a girl. I can't recall. There's 15 kids, guys, and I graduated.
There was plenty to choose from.
Plenty to choose from. I graduated many years ago. But I do know their first couple kids were boys. And I want to say before they had the first girl, his mom passed peacefully. I think she wanted someone who could help her son. And she wanted to know that there were heirs to the throne.
I think she really was happy that it turned into a love match.
I think so too.
She saw that he had an advocate with her.
Yes.
And, I'm sure that was really
And she
comforting.
spoke about how painful it was to watch him go through these treatments.
To crack. Oh my gosh. When she said that about when you start to see the cracks, and then you'll do anything to stop the cracks.
Yes.
And I thought, she said as a mother, and
That's true.
You know, you've heard that said, you're as happiest as your unhappy child.
Right.
And that's a truth.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have a kid struggling with anything, any kind of, not just mental illness.
That's where your heart is. That's kind of where that's your Google searches, right? What do I need to know about this? How do I fix it?
To help that. So, but he portrayed it so well.
Yeah.
And both his lucid times and his times when he was struggling.
Yeah.
It felt so real.
Yes.
And you had such empathy for him.
Overall, I'm going to say, and this is for anyone who hasn't seen it, it was a happy story. It was happy. It ended as well as it could have. I loved it. I loved the last episode.
Like I said, it was a real love story.
Yeah, these were grown-up problems. Cinderella. Even though she was a kid. By all right, she was 17. A child. She was 17. Yeah. But it was
they didn't live long, so 17.
Well, he did, surprisingly. You know, he lived to be in his 80s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he lived to be, which...
usually they don't.
Well, they usually
17,
don't.
She died first.
She did.
She died first. So,
yes.
But I thought it was well portrayed. I loved his character. He made you he just drew you in, and you were rooting for him.
Yes.
To please be okay.
Yes.
You know?
And when you had the moments and the glimpses where he was George, you were almost as happy as she was.
Yes.
You were just elated. Her kids were hilarious.
Oh gosh.
Her kids were, when I saw it, I was like, damn, Lisa has a lot of kids, but this is a lot of kids. Girl, I cannot. Imagine. At some point, they just started walking out. Hey, Mom.
But now with her character, it gave
prayers, sorrows.
It gave you a little insight into why she was so tough. She kind of had that real, I guess, I don't know anything about royalty or anything, but not all queens don't have that persona. She just
she had a very regal and toughness about her.
Yes, but you see why.
She carried a lot of weight, even outside of her husband, outside of you're here to make an heir, which was, that was it. The minute she showed up, oh, you have good hips. You should be able to carry a lot of babies. Even outside of that, she was the first of her kind.
Yes. And to keep it together when your spouse is struggling, because there could have been a coup. They could have,
Parliament was already talking about changing
there was
stuff.
All kinds of stuff that she had to keep at bay.
Yes.
And I imagine that was really difficult. And I thought, now, there's a lot of fiction in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, it kind of makes you think how, she just loves to be entertained and the gossip and all the things. And I thought, just to escape.
Yes, honey.
From all the stuff.
That's why she had those exotic. Who the hell has 15 kids and then gets 30 exotic pets? The queen.
Well, she's not take care of any of it.
Well, that's true. Those are called zebras. Oh, zebras. Yes, bitch, zebras. But you're right. She needed the distraction.
No, yes.
She really did.
I can't imagine dealing with
and
that.
And then
at
to
that
go
age.
all that time and you have no heirs to the throne. Something that came full circle was when she showed up, of course, it's get to baby making. I don't care if y'all like each other. We need heirs to the throne. And then here they are entering towards the end of their life. And she's on her kids like, there's 15 of you, or, there were 13 left. There's 13 of you all. And it was really funny because she was like, there was just the two of us and we made 15 of you. I don't see how hard it could be. Make me a royal baby. She ended up kind of being the very person that she walked into.
Yes.
Because at the end, it was all about makeup. And if you haven't seen this and you're like, I'm not going to watch it.
Don't listen to us yet. Then I guess we should have told
you.
We have spoilers.
It's a spoiler.
We're going to talk about
If you've heard us before, you know this. If you haven't, I'm sorry. I'll send you a cup of coffee because yes, there's some spoilers. Just watch the first episode. I was so tickled. Prayers, sorrows. I was like, what?
But you
Girl,
know what?
Are you crazy?
We'll talk about this later when we talk about the coronation. But you see the hand of God, fate, the universe, whatever y'all call it, at work. Because, you would think just statistically with 15 kids, there'd be kids.
Back then, but at least 7 should be dead.
Right. But it just shows you how people make plans and, we think things are going to be one way, and it isn't always that way.
No, it's not.
And what's for you is for you, and how things turn out is oftentimes how it's supposed to turn out.
Yes.
That's my feeling about it.
And I guess we didn't cover a lot of Queen Charlotte, but that reminds me so much of what we've talked about with the coronation. So I'm like, oh, that was a good segue. Yes.
But she did have a really interesting life, and I have so much respect for her. Just
I do
what
too.
She went through.
What she got thrown into.
Yes.
Because her parents were deceased.
And made the best of it.
She did.
And I hope with 15 kids, but it seemed like they had a love match. And I'm hoping that's true.
At some point you've produced the air. You're doing this because you want to do it.
There were some feelings there. Now, what did y'all think about Lady Danbury?
Girl.
That was
every time I hear now I'm like panicking, like, oh gosh.
But it's all this arranged marriage type thing.
But she was promised at 3.
And
old, like
little fossil of a man.
Girl, gross. And I'm surprised what work still worked.
And he wasn't cruel, but he was typical of his time. Like, you're just a woman.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have an opinion.
Yes.
I'm
not going to give you credit.
You're just here.
Here, yeah.
So and that's kind of what it was. So there was no love there. They had children, and she was very young and he was very old. It wasn't even like a 20-year. No. It was like he's 70 and she's 20 kind of thing.
His first wife passed. He was looking for a match, and she was promised to him when she was 3 years old.
Wow.
That is you just have to see it, guys. And by the way, the actor is actually very handsome, but baby, what they did,
the makeup,
oh my gosh,
something. He was a troll.
It was
awful.
So bad. It was awful.
She was just so
I was really upset, y'all. I'm like, why did Lisa not warn me about this?
But then it was like, she welcomed her widowhood. You know what I mean? It's like,
she went outside, and what was her name? Do you remember her handmaid's name?
Oh,
no. She was like, you won't be drawing bathwater any longer. Oh, no, miss, I've got your bathwater. No.
She would bathe. Every time they had sex, she would bathe. Just to get the ick off of her.
Just to.
But, oh my gosh.
And you know what? That was another point of how money didn't matter if you were a woman, because she talks about where she came from and how much money she had. It didn't matter because she was a woman.
Right.
She really,
still had no agency.
She had money.
Yes.
He did not.
Choice.
But it didn't.
But that's a whole sticky wicket with the aristocracy and royalty.
And that the grass is not greener, guys.
Choice.
Yes.
It is beautiful. It is all the pageantry and the jewels and the things. And it's comfortable, but it's still a cage.
And it comes with a big price.
There's such constraints and boundaries around you, and such lack of choice. Because, you can be given something valuable, and if you didn't want it, if you didn't choose it, it's not valuable to you.
Yes.
Do you know those people? I have known people that got engaged, and the spouse got a ring that she didn't particularly like, and it might have been expensive. It might have, all the things, but it wasn't her choice.
Right.
And so
and therefore it did not hold that value.
It didn't hold.
That's it.
It didn't have the,
that's it.
So it's kind of like that. We're on the outside looking in thinking, oh, how wonderful that is. But that's nothing they chose.
Right. And honey, everything that's happened with Harry, everything that's happened, that's come out.
Oh, but wait, we have to talk about young Violet though. In Queen Charlotte.
First off, I want to fight her mama.
Yeah, the mother was a bigot. She was mean. She was real ugly to Violet.
She was a capital B word all around.
Real ugly
they even alluded, she said, we had to walk to get out of mother's hair. But I don't know how we could be in her hair in a house with 19 rooms. Or it was 19 or 20 rooms. And I thought, no, your mom's just a capital B. But
her dad was so sweet.
He was so kind.
And so, Violet.
And he was very involved.
His temperament. She's such a sweet person and caring person. So you kind of saw where she got that from, because the mom was not that way at all.
No.
And, it just speaks to fatherhood. I was telling Natasha, it really matters who your dad is.
Yes.
Because that's where you get your identity from. So, not that moms can't do, speak into people's lives or, but I think if you have a good dad, you can kind of overcome bad moms.
Yes.
But sometimes the opposite is not true.
It's not
bad
true.
dads, I mean.
That's why you hear more about daddy issues.
Yes,
the term daddy issues.
Because
you hear more
give
about
you your identity.
Yes.
Who you are, who your
and
dad
says you are. And thank God for her dad.
Right.
That little twist that happened. I said, wait.
That was...
We making birthday crowns.
It was great that Lady Danbury had a happy... loving relationship.
Yes, because she had never experienced it.
Never experienced that. Yeah. So you were rooting for them, and he hadn't either.
No, he hadn't.
They both were just starved.
So, what did you think in the end as that revelation wrapped up? What did you think?
I was just happy that she had someone.
I was happy with Violet's reaction.
It wasn't long lived.
Yeah,
but I was happy that she had that. But y'all, it was so funny. And we talked about this with one of the Bridgertons, and I was saying, I really want the mom. Violet.
You've been saying that.
Somebody. So Violet,
when
Violet was having a little moment, y'all. She wanted her field.
My
plowed,
garden is in bloom.
Watered.
The minute it happened, I was like, "What has Lisa prayed about? She done spoke this into existence." I was so tickled when she was trying to explain it to Lady Denver.
All this time she's been in such mourning, and I guess just busy with 8 kids. And she just didn't really think about having someone else. Yeah. So now it's kind of on her mind. So they kind of opened the door for
they
that.
did.
And
I told you that they're going to do it. They're going to do it.
I love that. So that was
Come on, Shonda.
So
hook us up, Shonda.
I was so happy about that. But
that was they laid the foundation with that.
They did. So
and she's so pretty. It's going to be good.
Honestly, well, of course, Violet and I are similar ages probably, but I'm rooting for her, and I would love to see that story.
And hers is different because she did marry the great love of her life.
Right.
So she and her daddy loved her, which probably speaks to why she married somebody like Edmund.
Great, right.
That's why she married someone like Edmund, because she had a great dad. So she knew when
she had that example.
Her picker wasn't broke.
Someone speaking into her life.
So she married according to her male
dad,
love, which was her dad. And so I want to see her story because it would have to be grand. It would have to be phenomenal because she ain't going to settle.
My mind.
Because they ruined it, y'all. They already chose Rupert. He was a dick. Sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah, they
Rupert,
did.
Rupert from Ted Lasso. I apologize. I can't remember his
somebody's grandma. Yeah. Well, there's just some other people.
He was the grandfather of Antony's now wife. Remember?
Right.
Yes.
They're going to have to bring somebody really handsome, really sexy. Like we need Violet's
Who is Goldie Hawn married to?
Kurt Russell. Ooh, could he do it?
Yeah, girl. I just saw it in my head.
He's really handsome. But
he could. You think he could? Yes, he could be from America and sail over. He don't even have to have an accent. He can just be Kurt Russell.
True.
He could do it. Daddy Russell, trim up that beard. Daddy Russell's going to bring it.
You know who else? Jeff Bridges.
Oh shit! Yes.
Ooh. James Brolin.
Now
that would be
that's work. That's a little heat.
Yes.
Now you know who I want, but this is just my own purely selfish lust. That's okay. He can sell over from America.
Yeah.
The Featheringtons had some. They had a little America thing. You're not gonna like it. Jeff Goldblum. Let him come over as an uncle to old girl who married Anthony and get it. Y'all, this is a sex scene. I'm locking the doors and telling the kids go away. Do you understand me? I am warm, guys.
Call us, Shonda.
Call us. My cheeks are flushed.
We have thoughts.
Thoughts and opinions. But sorrows, prayers.
We have opinions.
Yes, we do.
Because honestly, I'm more interested in that storyline than some of the kids. No offense.
Yeah, listen, at this point, we done seen the kids get it on and get married. Good for y'all.
But now in the books, one of the kids down the line, I want to say one of the youngest ones, marries Lady Danbury's grandchild.
You're right.
So that's
the only reason you knew the woman had kids.
So that's kind of how they're going to, I guess, bring that, because you don't see the children much, but somebody's going to visit.
Yes.
And there you go. So that'll be down the line. So we'll see. Now, the coronation, y'all.
Lisa's dedicated.
Charles is King Charles. It's a done deal. So lots of historical and biblical references, which I found very interesting.
Yes.
The anointing, you remember in the Bible when, who was it? Samuel anointed David.
Oh, yeah.
And also Saul.
I was thinking Saul.
Both.
So I was like...
He anointed both. So that is a biblical reference about God choosing the king.
And you know what? Some people go their whole life, they don't see a coronation, guys.
Right.
My mom is one of these rare people who has lived to see two. But that is because my mom is in her 80s.
And the royals are so long-lived.
They are.
Usually.
They are. They live a long time.
But... it was all the pomp and circumstance, all the, beautiful gowns and jewels and all the things. As Americans, we kind of don't get it. It's such a that's odd. But they're down for it. I was thinking, I can't think of an event where people are in the streets like that, like they were there. No. We just don't have things like that. They
close businesses. Do you understand? Like blocks and blocks and blocks are closed.
Everybody's.
I told you I have a friend who she lives here half the year. She lives with her husband over there half the year. And she was like, yeah, nope, I'm going to miss some of my months in the U.S. because what are the chances I'll ever see this again? And she did some lives on Facebook. I was like,
I think
this is insane. Cool. Yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah. So, I love that. I love just how everybody gets caught up in it. It was sad to see Harry kind of by himself.
Girl, I was fine with Harry. I'm fine. Yes.
I mean, he was with the cousins. He and the aunt spoke. Everybody, besides the brother, were speaking to him, and he seemed to be okay. He left right after. I am still praying that there's some reconciliation there.
But you know why I'm not sad for him? Because a gold cage is still a cage.
Well, I'm not sad that he chose to leave. I'm just sad that they are not okay with it. And I was telling Natasha, reports are, I don't know if this is true, they're saying that Harry and the dad speak.
Communicate.
So they're kind of okay. It's the brother.
Yeah.
So... And Brene Brown was on something and she was talking about resentment and how resentment is not anger, it's envy. And I thought, William, it's kind of that, I'm so mad that you got to leave and I don't have a choice. And so I think that's some of it.
Yeah.
But I hope they can get past the hump. I hope that Charles will reach out. I hope that he will reach out to Meghan to help him with some of the diversity issues and some of the, reaching across racial lines and things. Just make it work.
Look, bring your son back in the loop because I got a spoiler alert for you. You got to be with who you want to be with.
Right.
In the end, you got to be with who you want to be with.
I don't think they were mad about
No,
that.
I don't think so either. But I'm just saying, call it what it is. Yes. Say the boy was in love. These are the choices that were made. But I'm going to bring you back into the fold because you are my son. To the extent in which you are willing
you don't have to earn it.
You don't have to earn it. That's it.
Just be here.
Just come on back.
Yes, you were born worthy.
Right.
So. Yes, I hope that, and we're all about second chances.
That's
so
true.
I really hope there's a second chance there. And the other big takeaway from this is what God has for you is yours. Because I thought about Camilla, y'all. Now you think about it. Just one generation away, his uncle couldn't marry the woman he loved because she was divorced.
Yes.
And he gave up the throne.
Yes.
For this woman.
Yeah.
So think of all the things that had to change for him to not only marry
Camilla, for him to be able to get divorced,
marry her, and for her to be the queen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, I just thought, that's just what God had for her.
Yeah,
it's just hers. So, wow, be encouraged. If it's yours, it's not going to pass you by.
That's it.
It is not going to pass you by no matter what happens. Who comes in and out of lives and what laws are in and out, you will have what's yours.
Yes.
That's the takeaway from it. But it was beautiful. I'm glad I saw it, and kudos all around. We just hope everybody gets back together, be happy, and just deal with the crazy in-law shit like we all do.
Like we all do.
Yes. So
up next.
Our picks for the sexiest man alive this week. But first, a message from our sponsors.
During hard times, it can get really difficult if you don't have anyone to talk to. Being alone with your thoughts can be an isolating feeling that can allow negativity to consume you.
This is why we are sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network that gives you access to help that may not be available in your area. You just fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with the therapist in under 48 hours.
Then you schedule secure video and phone sessions. Plus, you can exchange unlimited messages, and everything you share is completely confidential. You can request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime.
Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. So many people use BetterHelp that they are currently recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states.
Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/free-for-coffee. That's betterhelp.com/free-for-coffee.
Okay. Who do you have? We talked about a lot of cute guys.
We did.
I almost want to change my vote.
But in the spirit of Bridgerton and things, I am going to pick Jonathan Bailey, who was the Viscount from season 2. There weren't a lot of choices for Queen Charlotte, really. They didn't have a lot of
age appropriate.
Well, no, not even just anybody. Who else? There just one many.
I can only think of 2. So now that you say
one, really. So anyway, but I'm picking the Viscount, who is so dreamy. And in anticipation
and they mentioned
for season 3, which I heard that he will have a big part in.
I think he will too.
So,
well, and so they talked about him. She alludes that they're on their honeymoon. Did you catch that? Violet mentions that. She's like, it's been, or maybe it's Anthony being away on his honeymoon. So they
did show her with the grandchildren.
And she showed her with the grandchildren for the Duke. And
so there's 2 now.
Yes. Well, did she have twins?
No,
that's right. She just had one. So that's right. Yeah. That's right. Because they were 2 different ages. Yeah. So they show that. So there were some little things. She mentions that Penelope and Eloise are having a little tiff. So they definitely kind of dialed it back to Bridgerton for us.
Yes.
So
I'm ready for season 3.
I'm
Queen
so
Charlotte
ready.
Just it
hyped me
appetite
up. Yes. Okay. I'm going to change. I'm going to change midstream.
Oh,
because I love this. I love this person. I'm going to go with young Brimsley. I love the Brimsley story. I liked him. He's way too young for me, guys. His name is Sam Clement, and I am not interested in him in that way because I think he's probably a baby. I think I veered way off. Maybe he's a grown-up. Oh, he's grown. Okay. Wow, he looks really young.
He was grown.
I did not think he was 30. But
okay.
Yeah, I was thinking.
But that was a cute storyline too.
That was really cute. I was actually not more interested, but I wanted to know what happened so bad. Yeah. I loved that storyline. So I'm okay.
It was sweet. There was a lot of little nuggets.
I'm okay with Sam.
Cool. He was cute. He was sweet. It was a sweet story.
It was a great story. It really was
story.
And I just, if Shonda happens to be listening, we all want to know what happened to Reynolds. I want to know. I know your thing is they didn't live long back then. I still want to know.
Yeah, but
it was
in my mind, they had a happily ever after, and I just felt like they just kept doing what they were doing.
And you know what? Thinking of the time and what was happening, it couldn't go no further.
No.
So to think of it, you're right. There's nothing more that I could have got from that.
In that position, I don't even know that you could be married.
Well, remember, she asked him, and he was like, "Well, who would have me? I'm with you
all the time.
When would you ever see your spouse?"
But it's almost like a hired best friend because they knew everything about him.
And he knew stuff about her that no one else would know.
Covered things and kept secrets.
Yes.
It was an important position, really, for both of them.
And they protected and helped guide their decisions. I think you should send a gesture.
Which was so cool when the king was having a little episode, and you remember everybody was saying, he's fine. He said, no, he's not.
Yeah.
Y'all are not paying attention.
Yeah.
He's not okay.
Yeah. And he could see it because of his relationship. Yeah. It was really good. Okay, loves. Thank you for pulling up a chair and joining us for coffee. Please subscribe to Are You Free for Coffee podcast wherever you are listening. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode and find joy in the little things. Until next time.
Part of the Boundless Audio Podcast Network.